Absolute Holdings acquired 60% of Platinum Explorer Bauba, marking its entrance into the platinum mining sector. It's going to be called Bauba Platinum. What we're effectively looking at here is a reverse listing into Absolute Holdings, right?
That's correct, Bronwyn. It's a reverse listing of the project into a company called Absolute Holding that was listed on the venture capital, and from today it's trading on the main board from this morning.
Well, Pine, good morning. It's Stephen here. Just tell us perhaps about the prospects for this, because it's really exploration at this stage, and it's going to be quite a number of years before you actually start producing platinum from this complex. And of course, this is the complex up there in Limpopo.
Absolutely. Obviously, in any exploration company, you start with your drilling and process and evaluation of the mineralization economics. So it's quite a journey, and that's why the listing is also important, because in that process you need to access capital markets from time to time as you take it up the value curve. The property we're talking about is in the heart of the Eastern Bushveld complex, and is adjacent to 4 platinum miners as the properties and 4 developing projects in the area.
Of course, your timing in terms of entry into the platinum space coming as little surprise, where we've got that platinum price sitting at around 1,600. I mean, it's not to say, though, that there aren't challenges in this industry. A big one, mining regulations, and we know that there's some contention when it comes to some of your prospecting rights over a number of farms in the southern cluster to the Bapedi Nation. How is that unfolding, and how soon can we see some resolution on that front?
Well, a project, to start off with, to answer that question, any mining project takes a long period of time. So, as I said, it's a journey from the initial exploration up to the mining. That can take 7 years in its own as a challenge. In between is obviously the mineral rights are secured in terms of the prospecting rights that was issued to us. And if you look at the southern cluster, yes, there's a review application by the combined Anglo-Platinum arm on those properties and against some of our neighbours in that area. However, we're quite confident in terms of the legal side that we are well covered in terms of title and tenure.
Pine, it's Simon Brown here. 2 questions kind of rolled into one. Timelines in terms of capital raising. Are you looking to be raising some capital, and have you got ideas about when? And what sort of timeline before you start physically getting platinum out of the ground? I imagine that's measured in years. Looking at a couple of years or still quite a period?
Simon, you're talking about a property hosting 138 million ounces and over a 50-kilometer strike length. So it's a huge property. So we're starting in the south with the drilling program, and that on its own can host up to 2 shaft complexes producing 350,000 ounces per annum each. So it's a long process. We start on the southern side. We will raise approximately another 45 million by the end of the first quarter of next year. Because of the drilling program as it is planned to execute that, and that will take us to inferred resource and then obvious with a scoping study. So it's a long process. To answer your question and timeline to production, you can estimate approximately it will take 7 to 9 years to be in full production, not from starting the development phase, but to be in full production. It takes a long time.
Well, of course, Pine, if you are going to be raising capital, that 45 million that you mentioned by the first quarter of next year, and I mean, there are obviously issues that investors will want some security over, such as the prospecting rights and that review of those. And also, this is quite a deep level mine, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, you're talking about in excess of 1,000 meters that the mines will operate in that area where the reefs intersections are. My strong belief is as the mining evolves in the platinum industry in South Africa, everybody is moving, all the big majors are also moving into those kind of depths. If you look at Impala's all new generation mines close to Sun City, they're all in excess of 1,300 meters. So it's going to be where the depths that all the platinum miners are going to mine into the future.
Of course, you've got an objective of procuring, acquiring, and developing junior mining and exploration projects. Is this an acquisitive growth story that we're looking at moving forward?
Well, in terms of acquisitive side is, at the end of the day, we need to establish value. And value in an exploration company in the phase where we are now is only being achieved by increasing your confidence levels into the mineralization of the ore body by ending up with a bankable feasibility study. In that regard, you get valued on a basis of dollar per ounce, a unit base, not a discounted base. And with that as a background, we need to do some work because we're currently trading at approximately 37 US cents per ounce. At the completion of inferred resource, if you look at peers in the industry, they're already trading at $2 an ounce. So for us, we need to do some work, get that rating, and at that basis, you can do consolidation kind of transaction and be acquisitive. But we are currently undervalued in terms of dollar per ounce.
Simon, what's your view on this? Because I think it would be really classified as an early stage exploration company at this stage. And of course, we know a number of junior companies did go under during the financial crisis, weren't faring very well. 1,000 meters underground. Do you think this is a prospect that investors will be looking at?
Short answer, they will, because investors, particularly private clients and the like, really like the exploration story. They've got to understand that as Pienaar says, it's a long-term project. This is not going to happen in a hurry. We're talking, 2020, late 20.
But is it just going to suck up cash until then?
It does, and that's the issue. And what happened with the global financial crisis is suddenly cash is almost impossible to get hold of, and that has all sorts of implications going forward. Investors have to understand that, yes, this can come to fruition, but there's money on the way and there's risks coming through in that things completely aside from the project can make that project suddenly less viable, can make raising money more complicated. We can look a year or two up at what's going to be happening in 2015. That said, people like it. Private clients like the exploration space with all its risks taken into account.
Yeah, because when you're taking a look at those risks, Simon, you're looking at, yes, on the one hand, platinum price sitting at $1,600 an ounce. You're looking at demand that's certainly going to be out there, but industrial action. You've got the stronger rand. You've got, as I was mentioning earlier, those mining regulations and high costs associated with it as well. Overall view on the platinum space as a whole?
I like platinum as a commodity. I think, and I think it's a bit expensive above 1,600. I wouldn't get too excited with it there. I would be looking to be buying into the platinum counters, certainly into platinum, sort of closer to 1,500. It's a good space to be in. It's getting a little more expensive to mine. The depths are becoming deeper. 1,000 meters is definitely, I know other guys are going deeper, but 1,000 meters is an expensive process rather than 200 or 300 meters, or even in some cases 100, but broadly a sector I like. But then I'm old school. If I want to buy a mine, I go to the big established, I go to Implats.
Pine, just looking at the prospects for the platinum price going forward, and also your cost of production when you eventually do start getting into that, because it is going to be 1,000 meters underground. What sort of cost producer are you going to be?
Well, if you look at the peers in the industry, I mean, we're talking about similar than the current Northams in their production. And there you're talking about 320,000, between 300 and 320,000 rand per kilogram cost structures that you have to produce to make a profit at. So it's a long journey. As Simon have said, this as an investment case, I think we've got a strong case in terms of our location, size, and the experienced boards with industry skills and so forth. But it's a journey. This is not for widows and orphans in terms of the investment case. As Simon have said, this is private equity and people that understand the exploration as you go up the value curve, that there is incremental value in the short term. However, when you start producing for dividends, that is a longer term art.